JJ Jinx!
Truck stop!
A while ago I reviewed the Higo no Kami, and that got me sort of thinking, I'd like to get into knives that are sort of everyman knives, workers' knives, peasant knives, that sort of thing. But on the other hand, I wanted to also get into knives that are of ill repute. And what I've found is that a lot of times they're kind of one and the same, which is great. There's so much overlap that it makes finding and collecting them and identifying them pretty easy. And I picked out a special one for this video because I wanted to dedicate it to another YouTuber named Stuff We Do. So a little while back, Stuff We Do posted a video where he proposed an under 1,000 subscriber YouTube challenge, where basically you just kind of give a shout out to a few YouTubers that have less than 1,000 subscribers. And yeah, I kind of thought about it, tossed it around in my head, and I was like, yeah, that kind of self-promotion, it's not really my thing. But I reasoned, well, if I enjoy these channels, maybe the people who enjoy what I do would also enjoy those channels. So that's how I'm going to rationalize it. I'm going to point these people out so that you have more stuff to watch if you are not aware of them already. Thank you very much, Stuff We Do. I love your videos, and I chose to do this knife. So this knife is made by a company called Okapi, and this particular one happens to be made in South Africa. Now, these Okapi knives were originally manufactured in Germany, starting in the early 1900s, for export to Germany's various colonies, or other places, including South Africa. How is this relevant to Stuff We Do? Well, he is a South African, and I like that. I like South Africans. I know that's kind of a weird thing to say, but I've known a couple in my life, and they have the coolest accents. And if you've ever heard anyone speak Afrikaans, it's pretty neat too. And one of my favorite books is The Power of One, which takes place in South Africa during the time period where this knife was manufactured. 30s, 40s, sort of somewhere in between the Boer War and World War II. It's about a kid who's a child of an English couple, and there's a lot of moving parts. There's like he's raised by a Zulu wet nurse, so he's got exposure to that part of society. He goes to a boarding school with a bunch of white supremacist kids, so he gets exposed to that part of society. And it's sort of about how he navigates his way through the pre-apartheid era, and growing up into that, he overcomes everything. And it's a really, really good book, made into a movie in 1992 with Morgan Freeman. The book is better in my opinion, but the movie's pretty good too. The book was written by an Aussie, but yeah, it takes place in South Africa, so it counts, right? Anyway, in the 80s, manufacturing rights moved from Germany to South Africa, where this knife came into my possession. It's got an interesting pivot mechanism. It's called a ratchet mechanism. You can see there's sort of a gear-ish shape right there. And so as you open it, you can sort of feel and see it ratcheting. There's like a little piece that it slips into, and now it's locked. You might notice this annoying rattly keyring thing. That is to help you close the knife, because you got to lift this piece back up, and that's not so easy to do without its aid. The way I've learned how to do it is using my middle finger and then pushing with my thumb, and then you got to be careful because the thing slams shut like a guillotine. Now this one is a more modern reproduction that you can get for about $5. It happens to come with the Moon and Star inlay, which I love because one of my favorite video games is Morrowind, and the Moon and Star symbolism is very strong in that game. But I also wanted to get like a legit used vintage one, which I got right here. for, I don't remember how much I paid, 20 or 30 bucks. And I think this one is actually made a lot nicer. The inlay is a lot more flush with the wood, which I believe is cherry wood, which is lacquered to a nice shine. And the knife blade is very, very used. You can tell it's sort of losing a little bit of its ratcheting mechanism because you can see the gear part is pretty worn. So this was very well used. The blade is straight down, kind of drop point deal. You got a thumb nick way out at the end for some reason. The tips, I've noticed, are usually pretty dull. And you can see on the stamp this little animal. That is the Okapi, from which this knife gets its namesake. A lot of patina on this blade. I love it. No idea when it was made. Now you can get these with different patterns on them. I chose this one for reasons I just talked about, or you can get them without a pattern at all. I don't know what kind of wood this one is made out of, but I've also seen others where they were made out of some kind of a polymer, some kind of a plastic blend or something. I think I would immediately start getting annoyed by that. But, I mean, it's just part of this knife's personality. What was this knife used for? Well, agricultural things, people working in gardens or farms or around the house, eating your food. That's the kind of knife I was kind of going for, the commoner's knife. And it's got that ill repute aspect to it as well. This knife has been nicknamed by somebody the Saturday Night Special of Knives. And that namesake is derived from the 38 Special, which is basically a revolver that fires an inexpensive cartridge that was used to murder a lot of people at some point in time. Where, it seems like every Saturday night there's another shooting. And so it got the nickname Saturday Night Special, and this is the Saturday Night Special of Knives. There's also a pretty cool little story. Apparently, a bunch of these knives made it to Jamaica, where they were used in the sugarcane fields, and supposedly supposedly Mick Jagger went and visited Jamaica and was given one of these knives, and he carried it on him for years. You can find that little tidbit of information on Okapi's website. Yes, they are still in business and they still make cutlery. Hopefully I did this knife justice. Stuff we do, feel free to correct me on all of the facts that I bastardized and other things that I probably got wrong. I'd love to visit your country one day. It's on my list. For the under 1,000 challenge, I have chosen these three people. Number one, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you about Tristan Barnett. I feature a lot of his stuff on my channel. Very young kid, very talented in my opinion. He's got 300 something subscribers. So the other channel I'd like to point you to is this guy, Grom Molotok. He posts a lot of unboxing videos, and not just about knives. He's into things like dice and other swag, and so it's a lot of fun to watch somebody else go through the process, and you sort of go on the journey with them. And he's only got 30 subscribers, so give him a visit, give him a shout. And last but not least, I'd like to point out my friend, if I may call her that. We've never met, but she seems like a pretty nice lady. It is Redbird 491, clocking in at 127 subscribers as of this video. She really likes outdoor survival, prepper type stuff, hunting gear, backpacks, and she's got some videos where she takes you camping with her, and so you can sort of vicariously go camping with Lady Redbird. So, thanks again, Stuff We Do. I saw, some months ago you only had like 30-something subscribers, and then I went to check back on your under 1,000 subscriber video just to kind of in preparation of doing this one, and I saw you've already shot up over 100, and for your 100 video special you featured a knife by Okapi. And I was like, oh my god, don't tell me he featured this one. And he didn't. It was like a commemorative knife, and he goes into a lot of the history, things that happened in South Africa. It's very complicated. It's a beautiful place, and if you want to see more of it, check out Stuff We Do.